conferences, you always hear them talking about personal and career development, and which means it is a very, very important aspect in one's life. But in this edition of the program today is taking another level because we are looking at solution oriented, and we are also going to be looking at new perspectives. So that's why it's very important for you to be part of the program. Don't just be a passive viewer. Make sure you are active by asking any question. We have competent personalities here who are able to respond to whichever question that you have. I bring to you our guest for today. We have Mr. Musoke Lucas Lunga. He's a General Coordinator of Excellence Union International Group, and he is a modern nation builder. Greetings and welcome.
Thank you once more. I'm happy to be here, as usual. And televiewers, we are here for you, as you are there for us. So just stay tuned as we give that which we could give at this very short time. Thank you.
You're welcome. We also have Aya Abine, productivity and business leadership expert. It's a pleasure to be with you on set today.
Thank you, Madam Alice. It's always a wonderful pleasure to come on this set with amazing people. UIG is doing amazing work, and Excellence Impact is one of those places where we come to see how with information we can lead to different kind of action for better repercussion. So it's always exciting to be here. I look forward to the conversation.
All right. And to crown the set for now, we have Wemba Miracle, PhD Research Fellow, International Law Jurist. It's a pleasure to have you.
Thank you very much, Madam Alice. It's always a privilege to be on this fora with learned minds, and I am very glad to be here today, and I'm particularly glad because we are touching on very sensitive issues that relates to youths, that relates to their future, and it will be a very interesting program.
All right, thank you. You've heard it's going to be a very interesting program, so I urge you to watch from start to finish. I'll start with you, Mr. Musoke. On this very set, this very program, we've talked about personal development, we've talked about career development severally. Today we are looking at solution-oriented. What is this all about?
Yeah, permit me to start this program today with something which is very serious, and I would love to say this, and permit me to say it again once more. You know, I have so many pastor friends, and I always tell them that if you are pastoring and you are not bringing solutions to the Christians, better pack your bags and become a normal Christian. You know, when God calls a man in a profession or a vocation, I'm not talking here about church only, I'm talking about human beings. People are called into medicine. People are called into becoming engineers, lawyers, accountants. That's your calling. Your calling is not that you abandon all what you are doing, you go to a Bible school and come and scream that God has called you. God calls everybody who serves him to serve him in the domain in which you serve God. Let me make that point clear so that if I'm talking about men of God, I'm not talking about pastors. I'm talking about pastors inclusive. So, if you are a living human being operating in any domain and it's not solution oriented, it does not solve the problem of people, it does not bring solution, please just pack your bags from that domain and probably go elsewhere, go and do something else. That is not probably where God has called you. I'm saying so because we are talking today to youths. There are many youths that are struggling in domains because of the issue of money. They don't look at the call of God upon their lives, the purpose of God upon their lives, then their own vision, which now they are supposed to fulfill in their lifetime. They struggle in places where God never called them. They do things which God never sent them to do. And no solution is seen in their work. Because somebody asked me the other time, how do you know that somebody is called? I said, somebody is called into something when he's bringing solutions. It's the easiest way to assess. If you are not bringing solutions, that is not your domain. Look for your domain, go there, and you will see how solutions will come to the people with respect to that domain. Because you cannot do anything in life. Today we are talking to the youths. We will be coming there. But I just wish to give a general perspective to youth that we are talking to today. You were not called for everything. You were called for something which is going to bring solution to the community, to the people, and to others. When you see that you are not giving solutions, and again I hit hard to my pastor friends, you don't bring solutions to your Christians. Please think twice. You can fold your arms, go back and be a normal Christian. Let other people pastor. Because you've not shown proof that that is your calling. Not everybody is called to be a pastor. I mean, a practicing pastor. Not everybody is called to be a lawyer. Not everybody is called to be an accountant. Not everybody is called to be a medical doctor. So people should be able to operate in their domain, because we are talking to youth. That's why I'm hitting hard on this. Youth should be able to know where they have been called to serve, develop it, and become an expert in that domain, so that you bring solutions. Because people are fed up today because, for example, nations don't give solutions to their people, because the right people are not in power, the right people are not in authority. People who are in authority are not solution givers. They are there for their selfish interest. Please, let me not continue. I'll come back. Thank you so much.
Yes, you really come back, because I find that mouthful,
I'll come back.
and speak all the truth. A lot of things I have to ask you concerning that. All right, we are talking about solution-oriented personal and career development. We are looking at a new perspective. I'm coming to you, Aya. You are one of those who usually organizes seminars, conference. You talk to youth most of the time about personal and career development. Now we are bringing in solution-oriented. What's that according to you?
Okay, thank you very much. Once again, it's always wonderful to be here. I hope that I will not be repeating things that Mr. Matsuke has said already. I think that I'm one of those who I'm very convinced about this. I think that if anything has to change in our beautiful country Cameroon, in our beautiful continent Africa, first we have to be freed from the shackles of religion. We have to be freed from the shackles of school, which has been confused for education today. And by school, I mean people just go to organized learning, but they don't get educated. And so you see a lot of people, even some have PhDs, and they have no idea about what it means to be educated. We also, of course, have to be freed from the governments and how the governments find ways to enslave us through the entitlement syndrome, through the enthronement mentality, through their bewitchment mentality. Now, what do I mean? The solution-oriented approach is one which brings value, and that's why I am very critical of religion and those churches and denominations, because a good number of them offer almost no solution. For what I've seen from observation, I might be wrong, and I stand to be corrected, where people are just religious, and what most people operate with, Madam Alice, is emotionalism, and emotionalism is different from having clarity. When we go to maybe churches on Sunday, whether it's Saturday, whatever the argument, what is expected is that when you come within the week, you should have enough clarity to have sufficient conviction to be able to provide valuable solutions. But we go to churches and we come back worse than before we went to the churches, for example. Just as a lot of people go to school, and by the time they finish school, they are worse than before they went to school. Their ability to cheat their way through and to create the kind of governments and countries and continent we have today is people who went through school, and they even call a lot of titles. So the solution-oriented person is he who gets into a disposition to provide value to other people. And you see, so many people go, religion, churches is the biggest problem, and they are the reason why we have had almost all the wars we have fought in our lifetime. Because people go there, their interest is not the solutions, their interest is the emotion. And what a good number of those who are supposed to be priests and shepherds do is that they work on the emotions of the people. And since they are working on the emotions, the people are deceived to think that they're having an experience. But people who have not discovered truth cannot give results, because it is only when you discover the truth about yourself, for example, that you have the courage to actually go and discover yourself. That's why if you look at Mr. Mosoke's intervention, he spoke and he went back to one thing, that you must discover your niche. Bill Howlett will say you must discover your beachhead market. You must discover the area where Proverbs 18 verse 16 will come and be true for you. You must discover the area where Proverbs 22:29 will become true to you. When you look at the situation where they were building the Ark of the Covenant, I think when God was selecting, God did not select an average person. He selected Bezalel, he selected Aholiab, and he said they were the best at what they do. When King Solomon had to build the temple, King Solomon went and got Hiram from out of his country. Why? He was the best at what he did. But today, I dare to ask, let's check, apart from those who are in the churches but are the champions when it comes to politics and cheating and killing, how many people do we see around who are providing solutions? And I'm talking about solutions to look at what the potential we have in terms of agriculture. How many people are doing something about it? We are in the churches, but we're also so excited about Enam. We cheat our way into Enam, they will come and give thanksgiving. So the solution oriented and the new perspective, Madam Alice, is that we must be freed from this government entitlement, enthronement, bewitchment syndrome. We must be freed from these shackles of religion. We must be freed from these shackles of school, where you go to school but you don't get educated, so that we can become people now who can be in an area of gifting, which is what we're supposed to use to design solutions. So that in our purpose we can provide solutions and not just end there, but become people that are able to give and to die for the good of their nation, for the good of their people. And that's what we're talking about, solution oriented today.
All right, I agree. I quite agree with what you meant by solution oriented. You've explained it very well. But I have a problem when you say people go to school and come out worse, they go to church and come out worse, and all of that. In the course of the discussion, I think we're going to.
Of course.
I'm coming to you, Miracle. Your view, is it the same with yours?
Yeah, I think it may not be very different. Yeah, but I want to say that the world is already having enough problems. The world is in so much. The world is going through a lot. And if youths are not able to provide solutions to the problems that the world is currently facing, it is going to be bad or sad to say that most of them will turn out to be an addition to the problem. In fact, I want to say many people are already an addition to the problems that the world is going through today. Because if you are not able to provide solutions to the problems economically, socially, politically, culturally, to the problems that the world is facing, then you may be on the other side. You may, on the other side, be the one that is contributing or being a problem to the world. So I think that adding my voice to the voices of the co-panelists, I wish to say that youths especially needs to sit back, because every human being is a complete parcel. God created every human being with everything it requires to make the world good, to provide solutions to the world. And if individuals are not able to sit down and tap into that which is within them, then they may rather be a problem to what has already been, to what God has already created. So, to an extent, I'm stating that man has everything it takes to make the world a better place. And in order to do this, man needs to sit back and do an examination of himself, realize his endowments, realize his abilities, come to terms and to consciousness of what he's capable of doing, because every human being was created to solve a particular problem in the world. Nobody was created, because of nothing. Everybody was created because there was a problem somewhere. If we go back to the Bible, realize that the children of Israel had been crying, and Moses came to address a particular problem. There was a leadership problem that was in place, and so he was born specifically to address that problem. So the question I'm asking every youth listening out there today: have you discovered why you were created? Have you discovered the problem, the specific problem, the unique problem you were created to solve? Thank you, Madam Alice.
You're welcome. I'm coming back to you, Mr. Masoke. Your first approach got me a little bit worried when you say people are somewhere and they are not providing solution. I think solution now will depend on you, what you mean by solution. Because I find it difficult to think that somebody may be somewhere working and is not providing solution. Is that possible?
Yeah, you probably you're asking me a question that already has an answer. Yes, because you yourself, you know, as a journalist, that, for example, the civil service in Cameroon, the government in Cameroon, is not providing solutions to its citizens. We don't have water, we don't have electricity, we don't have so many things, we don't have roads. You travel to other countries and see what they call solutions. If you have traveled to other countries, you will see we virtually don't have solutions, even from this big body itself. You know this, corruption has invaded the whole place, and what was supposed to be used to provide solutions for basic amenities and the rest is not there. And you yourself, you are here crying whatsoever. You are a professional in journalism, and you if you had a solution space, you would have probably gone further than here, or further than whatever I'm saying. I'm not minimizing this place, but let me come back to what I really meant by not providing solutions. You know, I first of all started with the church, and permit me to start back. The problems which we are facing in the world today is because of the failure of two entities. If you've never heard this, hear it today. I said the problems we are facing in the world today stands to the failure of a number of entities, but two principal entities. First, the church. The church has failed, and that is why people that had hope in the church have lost it. The church has become a religious routine. People go with their problems, they come back worse. You see, people went to Jesus and came back home with solutions, and that is why they were eager to follow him where he was going to. Even in the desert, they were there because they saw tangible solutions for their problems. That is the reason why they were so much glued to Jesus Christ wherever he was going to, because he provided the solution that he said he could provide. Today, people have problems for 10 years and nothing is being done. Their problem is still there. They're even worse. That's why I said the church has not provided solutions to the community in the whole world. The world was looking up to the church, but the world is no longer looking up to the church, because that is even where the worst corrupt human beings are based. In churches, occultists, people who pretend that they know God, but they still practice strange things, they are found in church. So the church itself does not provide solutions. It has created problems rather than solving problems. It has not provided solutions. Take note, that is a big body. Then the second body of individual or whoever that is, it is the issue of leaders. Leaders of the world have failed because they've not understood what leadership is all about. They thought that leadership is to have a position and govern, lord over people and control resources at your own will, and it is you who decide what you can pinch and give to the people. That is what leadership is all about today, bossing and the rest. So these two categories of entities, the church and leaders, have failed the world, and that's why the world is in chaos, because these are the two bodies, these are the two entities that are the spearheaders of solutions, but rather they have spearheaded problems. And today the whole world is in trouble today because of the failure of these two entities. I don't want to call the devil, because he is known that he himself, he came to steal, to kill, and to destroy. That one is known. I'm talking about entities that were supposed to provide solutions. The devil does not provide solutions. Did they know? Okay, now touching that, I come back now to the space in which we find ourselves. Now, an artificial nation has been created. The artificial nation, why is it artificial? It's artificial because youth have not been given the full opportunity to actually develop themselves to that which they desire. Whereas the resources are available, whereby this environment would have been created. So that if a young man wants to become a medical doctor, that is his calling, he does not need to go and they cage him with a certain entrance, and then the list of 80% that is published, nobody sat for the exam. Now, please, these are realities that we are trying to talk about. And that happens to many of the examinations that we see today. If your father does not have 9 million francs, he will not be able to go and bribe for you to go to a certain school. We are seeing it. It's not only in Cameroon, it happens elsewhere in Africa. So the space has not been enabled. That's what I'm trying to say. Government enabled the space so that youth could thrive and do what they have been called to do freely, without going to what they have not been called to do because of the situation at hand. And you are forced to go and become a nurse, because if I don't become a nurse, I will not. No. The environment has to be enabled so that youth can move into the domain in which they have sensed the calling of God upon their life, develop themselves in that domain, and become useful in the society. That is what will even make them to become solution givers. But people do things today which is not their domain. Well, there is no way out, so that is the only alternative for them, and they are forced to go into it. At the end, they cannot provide solution because that's not their domain. They are not naturally called into that. That is not the purpose of their life. They cannot solve any problem in that domain, and we find ourselves in the chaos which we find ourselves today. People don't provide solution. Again, people look for money, and their interest for going somewhere is for money. It's not because they wanted to solve a problem. And at the end, they are not looking at problems. They are looking at how can I get money? How can I get money? And it's the same scenario that has also turned out now to the church. I'm calling the church because I talk with pastors every day on different things. They have to sit up. Churches have to sit up. I'm speaking the truth. They have to sit up. Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, Aya, you mentioned that we have failed educational system, failed religion, and all of that. When we are talking about career and personal development. Now, if the educational system is failed, it's a failed one, how is career development going to be a part of personal development?
Could you take the question again, just so I'm very clear?
Yes, I'm saying that you said we have a failed educational system,
yes,
right? We have a failed religion, and students are going to school to get their career. If we have a failed career system, and we are talking about personal development, how is personal development going to help in career development?
Okay, so I don't know whether it's that you agree to it now, because the way you said it, that you agree about this failed religious system and this failed schools. I should clarify, because I think, just to add to Mr. Mosoke, I add that the school system, and I don't know if it's Nelson Mandela who mentioned that if you want to destroy a nation, you want to destroy a society, destroy the educational system. And what they've given us today is just school. We just go to an organized setting, a classroom, and then they pit you against each other with the marks, right? And that's why some lecturers even take advantage of girls on the basis of marks, for example. To think that the dignity of a woman, which is one of the most valuable things on this surface of the earth, is reduced to the level of marks, just to show the kind of educational system we have, which we even call educational, but it's not an educational system, because it doesn't lead to any output. Those who are able to even excel in this educational system or in this school system are those who go beyond the school system to work on themselves, and that's where personal development comes in. And what I've been saying it, and I had a program on radio this morning, I said it, and I've been saying that we must put personal development as a subject or a course right from primary school. So long as something, because personal development has to do with discovering yourself, organizing yourself, knowing your gift, knowing your purpose, designing the vision, having a strategy, building the team. Thank God that we have some people even know better than me on this panel. But until something knows its purpose, wastage cannot be avoided. And that is why all these leaders we have in these positions today are people who don't know their purpose, and all they can do is to amass things because they think that's what makes them valuable. A purpose-driven man like Moses who served. Do you know what it meant for Moses to go in front of Pharaoh? The fear that will come with it. He went. Do you know what it means for Christ Jesus to organize his death? He organized his death and went. Do you know what it means for Nelson Mandela to go to prison for 26 years? He never had the chance to see a lady or touch a woman for 26 years. Do you know what it means for Martin Luther King to speak and he knew he was going to die? Those people had found something which was stronger than even the fear of death. They had found their purpose, and their purpose was able to give them a passion that is stronger than death. And today we have churches that don't teach about purpose. We have churches that teach about rituals, and every day people go for rituals. I've been in the church groups for 10 years and nothing has improved in the group. It's getting worse. And I don't want to go into the details of what happens in the group. I've been in church environments where people work for 30 years and there is no improvement in their life, and the church doesn't care to check. And when you check the top business leaders have existed ever in the world, they say that what the worker, the human being, is the most valuable asset. And to think, therefore, that a place that's supposed to be the church doesn't care about the well-being of its employees or its workers, it shows the kind of mindset that is managing these religions that we have today. So that is why personal development should be taught right from primary school. As a matter of fact, going back to the church, before any teacher has access to your child, you should have taught your child that there is a purpose for his or her existence before any teacher comes to give any external information. Because when someone doesn't know his purpose, there is wastage. So now we have a religious system which the people living in the system don't even know their own purpose. And so they spend all their time fighting. Because when you're not purpose driven, you fight for power. You fight for things. I keep telling people, if you are purpose driven, first you'll be a very confident person. If you've met Dr. Miles Monroe, then you understand what confidence is all about. But it will make you to be ultra humble. And humility doesn't mean you are shy, and humility doesn't mean that you don't have boundaries. You have your boundaries, but you value other people. The church has failed to teach purpose because the kingdom perspective is about purpose. Every maker, every creator, every father has an intention for sending you. And until you execute that intention, you are nowhere to be found. So if the church doesn't teach that, and the school doesn't teach that, it means we must bring something new. And that's why for me, I don't know about others, but I decided to get into what I do today as an entrepreneur so that we can solve this problem. I bet you, Madam Alice, if you had a majority of purpose-driven Cameroonians, see, Cameroon can never be the way it is. If you had a majority of purpose-driven Africans, Africa can never be the way it is. The truth is that Africans have lost that sense of purpose, because a purpose-driven person would be a spiritual person. And what spiritual people do is that they go above the flesh. Spiritual people don't focus on sex, on drinks, on food, on those basic things. They have something beyond the basic things of life. Once you have those kinds of leaders in all the different sectors of our society today, trust me, I can promise you, you would see a change. And the leaders, the governments have failed to do that. The churches have failed even more. And the school system has failed, and they will have excellence impact now to help.
Before I come to you, Mr. Mosoke, there's this question for you. This one says, hello, hi TV. I wish to find out from Mr. Mosoke if he thinks that it's possible for a pastor to solve the problem of all the Christians in his denomination. Mr. Mosoke.
The pastor does not solve problems. He is a channel to solutions. God uses humans to solve problems. Has powers to solve problems. We are saying that the pastor is supposed to be available, the one that has called him, so that through the one that has called him, he will provide solutions to the problems that he faces in his congregation and wherever he goes to. So the issue is that it seems as if there's a missing link between the one that some pastors claim have called them and the services that they are rendering. That is why the one that truly calls people solves problems. So if you are saying that he has called you and you are not solving problems, then there's a problem. So that's why we are saying that. Can the pastor solve all problems in his church? No. Can the living God solve all problems in the church? Yes. Let the pastor make himself available to the living God who have called him. Then the solutions will be given to everybody who comes to that congregation, because God works with his servants. That's what we mean. So it is not that human being that solves problems. It is the one that has called him that is able to solve all problems that we are talking of. So let him make himself available to the one that has called him. If truly that one has truly called him, then the solutions will be given through him to the people that.
Let me just add something briefly. So what the pastor does is that the pastor provides clarity for the people. So he goes to God if he's available and if he's purpose driven. He gets information, and then no matter the sector you're coming from, your marital life, your professional life, your academic life, he comes and gives you clarity. When there is clarity, you go out with conviction. A man that has conviction cannot be stopped even by death.
All right, thank you, Miracle. I was supposed to come to you, but I have to continue this question. I'll bring to you, we have you on set, Pastor Silas, who is an author and leadership consultant. You're welcome to the program.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me.
All right, I was about bringing you after, but I want you to talk since you're a pastor here on set.
A pastor with a difference.
Somebody just asked the question if a pastor can solve all the problems in his community, and we've heard what Mr. Musoke and Aya have said here. But I also know that there's somewhere in the Bible that is written that you should pray and wait patiently for the Lord, and the Lord does things at his own time.
Okay, so the question that can a pastor solve all the problems in his congregation? No, the pastor cannot solve all the problems in his congregation. But what is the role of the pastor? First of all, we need to know how to find that question. In Ephesians, the Bible says that he gave them apostles, prophets, pastors, and teachers to do what? To equip the saints for the work of the ministry. The work of the pastor is to train people so that they should be able to carry out the purpose which God has given them. One of the biggest, like, I'll just cue in from what everybody has said. One of the problems that we have with pastors is that they train people to do their own purpose. They don't train people to do the purpose God has called them. What that means is that every member in the church has a purpose from God. And that purpose is not necessarily what the pastor is doing. Right? That purpose is not what the pastor is doing. So the pastor's role is to orient, what you're saying is to orientate the people, provide them clarity, so that each and every member in the church can discover their unique purpose in God and be equipped to go and carry it out. And the purpose that the member is called to do is not to be church member. It's not to sweep the church every day. It's not to be usher. The purpose is to go out there in the different domains of influence and create impact. One of the misconceptions that we have in the church is that people think that when you come to church on Sunday and you're doing ushering, you're singing, you're doing ministry. You're not doing any ministry. That's not ministry. Ministry is out there into the world. The pastor's job, let me say something. On a typical Sunday, the only person who is doing ministry is the pastor. Every other person there is being ministered to. On Monday, they have to get up from your beds and go and carry out the ministry for which they were trained on Sunday to carry out. But the problem is that most pastors don't train your members like that. They don't tell them, listen, your real work is not to come and sit in this church and sing and dance and all of that. Your real ministry starts when you leave the four walls of this church. This is a training center. This is an equipping center. We are here to equip you so that on Monday, when you get up in your office, your office is like your pulpit. That is where you go and exercise the assignment that God has given you. That is the orientation that the pastor is supposed to give to the members. But I don't know how many pastors do that. And when you give the orientation, then there's a different way we should measure the growth of your church. Many people measure the growth of their church by the size of the congregation. That is not how you measure church growth. You measure the church growth by the impact of the members in the society. So it's different to have a church of 1 million people doing nothing than to have a church of 10 people who each of those 10 people is impacting at least 10,000 people in the city. That is the real impact of the church. The problem is that when people don't understand this dynamic, every day we are gathering. The church is not a gathering of people who come and idle around. It's a meeting of legislators. It's an assembly where people come and discuss issues affecting the society. That's the kingdom model. That's what the church, that's why it's called an ecclesia, an assembly. What do they do in the assembly? Do the members of parliament come and discuss their personal issues in the assembly? No. They come and discuss issues affecting the nation. They come and discuss policies affecting the nation. And we judge the effectiveness of the members of assembly, not by their gathering in the building, by the impact of your policies in the society.
Perfect.
And if that society is not changing, then you're not doing your job in the parliament. And the only thing is good for you is that you should be kicked out. You understand? And that's what we do. And that's what the church is. So any church in a society is measured. Its impact is measured by what the members do. So in a way, if I come to a church, I should be impressed by 1,000 people gathering, 1 million people gathering. Good, fair enough. We need people to train. I should be able to say, okay, this one person that is sitting in this pew, what are they doing outside? Are they running the business? Are they starting the school? Are they doing the shoot? What are they doing? That's what I want to see. If they are doing nothing, then the church is ineffective. That is the orientation that Mr. Aya is talking about.
That's the pastor of the difference.
Thank you so much. I myself personally have a problem with these church activities from Mondays to Sundays during working hours, and the pastor will tend to tell you, or the man of God will tend to tell you that 1 minute that you spend in the house of God or doing something for the Lord is far more better than what you do out there. Meaning all of us should just be jobless. I think I'm coming to you, Miracle.
Thank you, Madam Alice.
We are talking about personal and career development, and we are looking at solution oriented. I want you just mentioned something that people need to find their niche. They have to know what they are good at so that they can solve problems in our society. How can you help these young African youth who are out there to find their niche? How can they find their niche? How will they be able to identify that this is what I'm good at?
Thank you very much. It's a very, very delicate topic, and I think Mr. Aya already started touching on it, because as I stated, every individual was created. Somebody once said everybody was created naked, but nobody was created empty. yeah, everybody was born naked, but nobody was born empty. Everybody was born with talents, with abilities, with endowments, and all these resources that people, youths, and everybody was born with. They were born with these resources in order to meet particular needs. They were born with these abilities in order to solve particular problems. And the question now is, how does an individual discover his niche, discover his area of competence, so that he can be proficient, he can be efficient, he can be effective in society? And going back to what Mr. Aya said, for you to be able to discover your niche, you need to look inside and not outside. And the problem is with our generation is that most people are looking outside rather than looking inside. There are no two persons. That's why no two fingerprints are the same. Every youth, everybody is unique. So unfortunately, many people have become photocopies of themselves.
Or maybe photocopies of others.
Photocopies of others, sorry, I'm sure that's what I wanted to say, not of themselves. They have become photocopies of others and a shadow of themselves. Yes, so it's very important for everyone to go back and do a retrospect. Looking inside, and for you to discover purpose, you must discover your niche and what you were created to achieve. You must go back to your creator. Because for you to know the functioning of a gadget, you need to consult the manual. You need to go back to the manufacturer. No other person is competent to tell you that, okay, this is how this thing operates. They'll teach you out of what it was supposed to do. And of course, you know the consequences of a single error will be disastrous. That is why so many young people, their lives have become a catastrophe. Why? Because they have not been able to discover what they were created to do. And as a result, they are trying, in fact, their lives, it's all about trial and error. So, first thing first, go back to the author. It is only the author that will be able to open your eyes and say, okay, this is what is here. This is because you can get this phone, and for maybe 5 years, there are features in this phone you don't even know. But the manufacturer who manufactured this phone knows that there is a feature in this phone that can act as a key. But I've been holding a key and the door is locked. So what do? When I go back to the author will be able to reveal me to me. Yeah. So that is where it begins. If we're able to understand, first of all, who we are, then we proceed by discovering what we were created to do. We'll be able to do this through what gives you fulfillment, what gives you joy, what gives you fulfillment, and what makes you happy is an indicator of what you were created to do. And on the other hand, what burdens you. So it is not just what gives you fulfillment. If you just get up every day and realize that, oh, the streets are dirty, nobody else is seeing that the streets are dirty, and you are the only one seeing that the streets are dirty, and even when they are cleaned, you don't even see it clean enough, then it is a pointer that you have something to do in that direction.
All right, thank you. When you talk of what makes you happy, a lot of things make you happy.
I knew I was going to come up.
Okay.
I knew that was going to come up.
Wow, yeah. Maybe I should clarify that. Maybe I should clarify. Yeah, because of course there are people. I was somewhere in Yaoundé within a weekend, and somebody was beside me, and she said she doesn't like going to club, but she doesn't drink, but she likes the noise in the club.
Okay.
So I was quite amazed that somebody doesn't drink, but she said she just likes going to a club because of the noise. She just enjoys the noise. I said, wow, interesting. So
it makes her happy, right?
So it makes her happy, but
and
that cannot.
If I could come in,
yes.
I think because as he said, it's one of the pointers.
Yes, not
what makes you happy, what makes you angry. Another pointer is that, and again, there are clear steps to be able to know this is my purpose. Another pointer is that it should not be about yourself. A mango tree never produces its fruits to eat it. It is always for other people. So if that thing that you are doing is to serve, because when you serve the other person that is solution oriented, right? And I'm sure it ties with our conversation today. If it is not the other person, then you are maybe just pleasing yourself, and that's why you don't get any returns from there. And if you don't get returns from there, right, you will not be able to do other things, because it's those returns you need to be able to go out, as Pastor Silas said, of the church and go and do other things for other people with the resources you've generated. That's why you see Mr. Mozoka started with the church, because how will you go to discover you? That is what the church should teach, right? And that's why when I read Marketplace Shift, when Pastor Silas asked me to review it, I got two key things from there. He said you are supposed to be a king and a priest, right? Because the assignment, the general assignment that we all have is to bring people to the kingdom. That's what we sit in the ecclesia to discuss. And so if people are not coming to the kingdom, we know that there's a problem from the ecclesia, right? Yes. Today is about going to give tithes. Let's not get into that. So, and then a specific assignment now is that as a mechanic, as a pilot, as a jurist, as a modern nation builder, as a journalist, you now in that area can control territories as a parliamentarian, the kingly part of you, right? And that king, that's what you need now to be able to solve a problem. I'm talking about being clear about purpose. So it's not just about pleasure. When you do it for other people, they'll give you something in return. When you take that thing, you can now use that as a king to command territories. But you are commanding that territory because you are a priest. Because the intention is to lead them to God, not to control them. So the pastors and many men of God today don't teach that because they want to control people. And man never designed man to control other men. Man designed man to control the lands, the seas, territories together as his creatures. So you see that's where.
Thank you for that clarification. I'm coming to you, Mr. Mozoka. I would love to be practical with this. In our society of today, we see a lot of young people who are looking up to most of our leaders. Why? Because when you attain, I wish to ask, if you attain a certain level in life, let me say you are a minister, you are a governor, and whatsoever, those people, can we say that they have achieved both career and personal development and are driven towards solution-oriented? Mr. Mozoka? Yeah, you didn't. What I'm trying to say is that if you look at our youths in our society today, they look up to what they want to be. They want to be like a minister. They are looking up to a particular minister, a governor, or somebody in a certain position, and that's where they are driving at. Going towards that direction and want to reach at that level, can we say they have achieved personal and career development and solution-oriented wise?
No, actually, when you look at most of these people that youths are looking up to, they are people who don't have a base. They are people who probably were opportunists, and opportunity found them and they found themselves in those places. They are not prepared. They are not actually grounded to handle that which they are handling. That's why they have not been fruitful. That's why they have not provided solutions to the community. So that is why we are bringing this issue of personal development. We are bringing it because we want youth to be developed so that they will be competent enough. They will have confidence in themselves. They will actually know that they know what they are doing. And they will be solution-minded and they will be providing solutions. And they will not look at positions, but they will look at the fact that they will be adding value to the society, adding value to the community, and they will automatically be value creators and they'll be giving value to the society. Now, this is a new set of youth that we are trying to build. That set of youth are already very corrupt already, and they tell their parents to give them money to go and bribe to go into certain schools. They freely embrace that because they already see that that is a norm. That is what is. That is how it is done. We want to cancel and bring off the new set of youth, not to join that trend of corrupt youth, who are already in that same train of the fathers, who are also very corrupt. So that's why we're talking about solution-oriented youth. And these youths have also to be God-fearing. That's where the issue of God comes in. Because even if they are solution-oriented and they are not God-fearing, there will be a time whereby they will compromise. So we want that as they are being modeled to become solution givers and problem solvers, they should also know that the element of God is the foundation, is primordial. Because that's what makes you to be morally upright. And you can do things the way that things are supposed to be done. Not by favor, but knowing that this is what the community needs. It breaks you off from ills that are already existing, like tribalism, nepotism, and so on. There are so many ills that the society has created. There's actually a lot of tribalism in the country like Cameroon. It's a problem. It's a hard nut to crack. But a new breed of youth will not be tribalistic. In as much as they can help people from their community, which is not bad, but they should also make sure that everybody is actually reached out to, because that is why they are being called. Yes, so that is it. So I am saying that the issue of personal development, which he said that should even start from primary school, right down there. And these young people are raised so that they discover who they are and the rest, and they start developing themselves in that line. And by the time they are growing, they already know where they are going to. They already pitch on that, and they go out and reach out to the community. It's the same briefly on the issue of the church. The church is also supposed to groom its Christians, start from a certain point, groom them as they are being groomed. In fact, a real church of today should be that church that grooms people, develop them, and send them out. Go out and reach out. But it's difficult because that notion is not really there. But I think that notion should come in. The church should understand that God can take care of its church. If truly God has called you people and his hand is there.
That's a difficult one.
If truly he has called, he is going to take care. Just do your part and allow God to do his part. You cannot do God's part for him. No. Allow him to do his part, but just do your part. Equip the saints. Make sure that they are well equipped. Orient them to actually know that they have to develop in their domain, so that in the marketplace they should be reaching out to the people. So that the gathering on Sunday is just a gathering to like encourage the people, revive them, and send them again out. They are the month end of worship, where people can sit down to evaluate how that month has run. That is church, and that is church that reaches out to the community. Yeah.
Thank you. I know you want to add something.
Yes, definitely. Two things I'm going to talk about. Let me start with the church and go back to the first thing. One of the ways a church should be able to evaluate itself is about a few days ago we were having this conversation with some volunteers within the church, and we told them something that kind of shocked some of them. We said, if you're in the church for 3 years and you have not changed, then you should leave. They mean we are not the right people for you. I mean, my senior pastor Donnie said that. That's exactly how we see it. Because that's how church is supposed to be. Because we told them that if within 3 years you're still here and nothing has changed, they come and tell us, means that either we are giving you the wrong
problem somewhere,
or we are not the people for you.
Yeah.
Because we expect that after 3 years in this church, you should not even be here. Yeah. Either you should have moved to some other place because you have identified your purpose,
providing solutions.
You have found what you have been called to, and you are out there doing it. All what you hear is the testimonies of stories of what you're doing. Yeah. You can come back, yes, for refreshing, for re-empowerment, for encouragement, and go back. That's what we see. So if you come to this church, that's what we tell our church members. If you come to this church for 3 years and you're still not sitting around, something is wrong. Either we are not giving you the right food, or you are not the right people for you. One way or the other, we don't want you to be here for 3 years and you're just idling around. We don't want the church or people who are idling around. That's what the church should be. Coming back to the issue of personal development. Last week, I think the Royal 2 team was here. I think and I'm part of the program. Last week, we had a training with the school prefects for Polypharma. And why did we have this problem? Why did we have this training? Because one of the things I realized is that this thing you're talking about leadership, it starts right from the base. Do you know the amount of corruption that goes on just with the level of school prefects?
If you even know, you'll be totally surprised.
You'll be shocked. So one of the things that we discovered, because last year we had a leadership academy, a transformation leadership academy, where we're training community leaders on how to be transformational agents in their society. And this year we decided that we're going to target the schools and focus on the school prefect, because that's where people start learning leadership.
Yes.
And one of the funny things that I discovered was that we got this prefect. We asked some of the prefects, okay, so you're made the prefect. What's your vision? What's your goal? What's the purpose? And somebody was like, they don't know, they don't even know why they are prefects. They just elected them, or they just appointed, depending on the system that the school runs. Yeah. So what's your goal? What's your vision? I don't know, I'm just there. I'm like, that is the beginning of disaster, right? You can't be a prefect, you have no vision, you have no goals, you have nothing. And so we had to begin to train them on how to, first of all, define your leadership legacy. And we told them your legacy as a leader starts at the school. Stop waiting for when they'll make you some big person somewhere. It starts here. And that legacy starts with you first of all defining your personal legacy. Your legacy as far as academics is concerned, your legacy as far as career is concerned, as far as relationship is concerned. We taught them how to begin to define who they want to be. How do you want to be seen? How do you want to be addressed? Start defining that legacy now, because that's what will define how you be a prefect. You don't just get up in the morning and then you're just going to school because you're a prefect. You need to have a vision. By the end of it, say, okay, you have these students that are down with you. You need to have a plan on how you're going to serve these people. And we told them leadership is service. Because one of the things that we discovered when we asked them, okay, identify problems in your school that you would like to solve. It's okay, there's this issue of dressing, immoral dressing, whatever they quoted some other hygiene in school. So we asked them, so how are you going to solve that problem? And then we started getting some funny ideas. So one would say, oh, no, that if a girl comes to school, the short skirt, we're going to look for your scissors and cut them. So ask them, how does that problem dignify the lady in question? These are some of the things that we're trying to change, because even their mindset of leading is wrong. It's all based on punishment, it's all based on force, on power, because that's what you picked from your leaders. And we told them that is not leadership, that's not kingdom leadership. Kingdom leadership is about service, it's about inspiration, it's about motivation. You need to be able to cast a vision to your students that will make them want to follow you. True. You cannot scare them into obedience. You cannot threaten them into alignment. That's not how a leader does. A leader inspires. So they had. So I was so beautiful, because all of a sudden they realized that, oh, rather than punishing people for not dressing well, let's start by first of all dressing the way we want them to dress. Let's inspire them by being an example of how a student should look like. I said, no, you're catching the vision. That is who a leader is. You don't want to do, because they were thinking about getting your friends to do stuff that they are not doing. I said, no, you don't lead like that. You are the one to set the example. And if you don't inspire them, you're not leading. And that was just a tip of the kind of transformation and the personal development we are talking about. You need to train these people, these young people, how to lead. And the leadership starts with personal leadership. How you lead yourself. You need to have a vision for your academics. You need to have a vision for your community. You need to have a plan for how you want to impact all these different domains positively, and then you craft a plan for it. And that was the change. And we are planning to do this every year with bigger schools. In fact, we're planning to do it. We're planning to do this more like a whole immersion program where we put them into like for 1 week, take them to intensive mind re-engineering. So that by the time they leave there, they go back to school, they are different people. They are servant leaders, they are creating impact in their school. And by the time they leave school, even their school will be calling them later on to come and inspire them. Because they will be recorded in their school that somebody, a set of people passed through this school and they left a positive impact. How many schools can we say that? We can't, because we think that is when they go to ENAM or when they go to all these places, that's when they become leaders. So it starts right from when they were made prefects, when they were made head boy in class. You must teach them what that means. It's an invitation to lead. This is not a privilege to lead. It's a privilege. It's not a metaphorical something high in the sky. It's practical things that we can do. Just a young student learning how to be an exemplary prefect is preparing that person to be an exemplary mayor tomorrow, to be an exemplary parliamentarian tomorrow. But imagine at that level, their concept of being is already wrong. That tree, listen, like they say, a tree, you can easily mold a tree when it's still young. The way it has reached maturity, my friend, there's no way of directing.
And getting is destruction.
Yes, and destruction. You see, you don't want us to destroy all the leaders that are there, but you want us to train these young people, then imbibe the right values. That's what we're talking about. What are your values? And that's where we will bring other people to inspire them. These are people that stuck with your values. And here's the thing. We need to make them understand that it is actually profitable to stick to your values because they don't see that. Because many young people feel that there is no profit in being
especially in Cameroon.
They don't see any profit in that. There is no profit in living a righteous life. We need to sell that to them that no, there's actually great benefit. But in person, and you're talking about happiness, it's personal fulfillment, not happiness.
Yeah.
There's a fulfillment that comes when you do service to humanity, when you serve people from your heart, when you live people from your heart. There is a benefit that comes that money cannot pay, and we need to sell that to our young people. That is what we need. People like you're talking about Martin Luther, those are people that saw something they're willing to die for. They saw something and it was not about money. If you have young people that arise and that are looking beyond the money, beyond the temporal comfort, but they are looking at living a positive legacy in their society, then this nation will change.
All right, thank you. And Aya, we know that there's this saying, people always say that if you understand this country, then you will not have any problem. You know, we are talking about values and we're talking about integrity. We've seen people who have kept their values, who have kept their integrity, and at the end of the day, they have nothing to write home about. In the midst of all of this, these youth that are coming up, do you think that they'll be able to maintain this value? Are they going to succeed in maintaining this value, in maintaining their integrity, in standing upright and standing out from this system? Because we know that there is a system that everybody follows.
Thank you very much. First thing I want to say that I have a neighbor and his son, or their son, wanted to be a prefect, wanted to be senior prefect. Do you know why? Because he wants to punish everybody. He wants how he's going to school. And the whole idea about being prefect is that of what you call swag. And it's fine to have swag, but the problem is that after that they don't want to render any service.
Yeah.
It's okay to have swag. It's okay to be good looking. It's okay to have for people to admire you. But after that, can you sit down now to trail a path to somewhere? So I was passing in front of their school, again, just to corroborate. I'm talking about that. He's a prefect now, he's a sports prefect in that school. I was passing in front of their school, and the prefect was standing there, and people were coming late. And one of the prefects took a plastic, finished eating, and threw it just in front of them, waiting for the other person to say, run up, pick this up. You see where it starts. And people who don't have a sense of purpose, that's how they behave, because service is not their thing. That's why, before coming to the challenges with integrity and all of that, you see, I always go back to the church or religion, because people who are spiritual, that's why you see the Indians are known for spirituality. Because an Indian warrior will go and fight a tiger for their village without thinking twice. Go. And they say, the great spirit is with me, and they will go. Christ Jesus would go and easily die for his people because there's a spirit of service. But even the church cannot teach that. I tell you about me, I've been in a place where I said, no, let's teach these young people to have direction. Let's help them to know where they are going to. In fact, let's teach them some basic skills that can help them in their university life. And I tell you that in that group, if you go now, you hear the names they will call me, you will not believe. And I was ready to teach them at my expense with skills I learned on my own. And somebody said, oh, you are changing the vision of the group. And I said, how? I'm empowering them. Now when they leave, they should want to come back and come and add value to this group. Even when it's a church group, I said, okay, let's start studying the Bible. Like, let's build a system to study the Bible. They said, I wanted to change the group into a prayer group. And I was like, how do you sing without studying the words that you are singing? You see. So, about this challenge with values and integrity, this is the real problem. The issue today is that you don't have men in the churches, in the schools, in the government who can stand to the end. And you know, one thing I keep saying is that I don't know God's plans for me, like the exact plans. I have my vision, it's my vision, and for my purpose, I don't know God's exact plan. But one thing I know, even death cannot scare me. That's to say, there is no point living the life we are living now in bondage. Religious bondage, educational bondage, leadership bondage, everywhere is bondage. And then somebody tells me that you cannot change it alone. So who changes it? And you were asking that question about religious people. You are a religious person and everything is going wrong, and your sister says, no, that's so you did. Who should advocate? You should advocate, because you should understand that as a Christian, you should be ready to die for the truth. Because the person we are following as Christians taught us that only the truth shall set you free. And there is no better way of showing that I love Pastor Silas or Mr. Wemba or Mr. Musoke or Madam Alice than dying for them. So how come the country is getting destroyed and you who is supposed to be a church person, a religious person, who is supposed to be spiritual, cannot stand for the truth? So we need, after all the amazing training that Pastor Salas is doing, Wemba is doing, I'm doing, Mr. Mosque is doing, let's now become those people.
Sure.
In one of my books I mentioned all that time, I wrote about becoming a GPS. And the GPS means good person with stamina. Many religious people like the right thing, but they are not ready to withstand what it takes to do the right thing. I have been president of a group and the whole year was spent talking bad about me. And the only reason is because I was trying to help them to have structure in their life. I was trying to give them direction. And it went to the extent where somebody said, you don't wish you never defeat Chukma or knife. You get the point? But I tell you that I'm not saying this because I'm not saying that if they come now, I'll go and die foolishly. No, you have to be strategic. And if you look even the way God operates, God is very strategic. When the Israelites were going, the Egyptians came, the crowd left and went in front, and they kept the Egyptians in darkness. So God is very strategic. So I'm not talking about being stupid. But what I'm saying is that we must get to that level where we stand and say, this is the right thing. And it is the right thing. Do your worst. So for me personally, and I'm sure others on this panel share, as much as we are doing this work, I have 268 articles on LinkedIn for free. You want to follow me, you can go and consume 268 for free. We must get to that level where us can take the pattern. Cameroon, Africa needs those kind of people who have seen and said they preferably death. And not foolish death. You don't even need they don't even need a gun. The men who have left legacies, they don't use guns. Those who use guns have not left any legacy. But individually, if you're watching me out there, because there's some who have this intention but they are scared. And that's why we must be a role models and examples to them. I'm saying it, I mean, if you want to test, come, I'll talk about the details. It has come down to the GPS. One who can change 10,000, one who can change 1,000,000. We must grow into people, each and every one of us. It's not something that is a particular person's responsibility, that can stand and go against the current. Christ Jesus did that. And that's why it is so disappointing to me personally when I look at what these religious and church people are doing. Because it is the direct opposite of what Christ did. What I'm saying is this, that if truly there was any church or religion that made sense in this our society, people should be able to get up together and say, hey, this country must change today. They don't need any weapon. They pick it up together. They go and they don't give in to fear and they go and change things. But it's not, this is what we want. This is the leader we want. But today, even the young people cannot copy that. Why? Because we are even more fearful than they are. The older ones are even more scared to die than the younger ones.
Yeah.
You get the point? So we must, at an individual level, pick up the baton and also ensure that we keep training and teaching and helping the younger ones to pick up these values. But we must be the models first.
All right. Remember, we are talking about, we've heard almost everybody has talked about our educational system, which is a failed one. Children are going to school. Apart from that, how can they develop themselves personally? Adding to
Thank you very much. I think, thank you very much, Madam Alice. I think this is a very important program, and I'm very, very passionate about youths because, a waste of youthfulness is a waste of life. Everyone who missed it at this age, will live to regret for the rest of the days. So coming back to the question, of course, we have all agreed that there needs to be a general overhauling of our educational system in order to ensure efficiency and productivity. Yeah, so personally, if every youth must become intentional and purposeful, this thing is a personal issue. It begins with the individual. So if you are waiting that somebody is going to rise up from somewhere and make you who you want to be, then it's going to be a big error. It begins with the individual. And I think that is where the place of mentorship comes in. Because most youths in Africa, in Cameroon, they don't even know what mentorship is all about. They are not even ready to submit to a mentor, because after having discovered what you are created to do, after having discovered your niche, after having discovered your uniqueness, your abilities, there is also the need to sit under a mentor. Somebody who has gone ahead of you in your own area of expertise, who has amassed a lot of experience, who has so many years, who has exposed himself to a lot, and who is able to sit you down, train you, grill you, drill you, and give you what it takes to give you direction, correct you, discipline you where necessary. That is mentorship. But the problem is, most of our youth are not ready to subject to mentors, to submit themselves to mentorship. Of course, talking about the other side of it, asking of whether there are people who are ready to be mentors is another question altogether, because there have been a bastardization of the term mentorship. People have transformed it into something else. Not even talking about the religious circle, because somebody say my papa. It has become occultism. It has become it's something I feel sad about. That's not what I'm talking about. That's not what I'm talking about. Holding, I'm not saying it's bad to hold a man of God's Bible, move around and all of those things. And, everything he says, you say, yes, Papa, and you dress like him, you shave your hair like him. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about, mentorship that's not mentorship. We need to be deliberate. And every youth out there, if you are into accountancy, if you go far in accountancy, apart from going to school, having a BSc in accounting, you need a mentor. You need somebody who has gone far in accounting, who has experience in accounting, who can hold your hand and mentor you and drill you. And I think going through mentorship, most countries around the world, I think Nigeria has gone far as that is concerned. Cameroon is still very much behind. And I think youths out there needs to embrace mentorship, and if they do so in their different spheres, in no time, I believe that the society we are seeing today will be much more better than what it is.
Thank you. I have a question, Mr. Musoke. There's a question here. I don't know why people are directing your questions only to Mr. Musoke. We have other panelists here.
You like to talk with the big people. He's the oldest. He's the eldest. His voice is loudest.
Good morning, Hi Television. Thanks very much for our panelists on set. I'm learning a lot. I just wish to find out from Mr. Musoke, how can I manage my time after gaining skills, after going through training and completing my education? Thank you.
Yeah, it's very simple. First of all, when we say that you've gone through your education, we need to truly know what you studied, because at times, by the time you finish, everything is already obsolete, and you may think that you have studied, but you've not even studied. But this is what I wish to talk to youths, including that young man or young lady who have asked that question. I usually say this, and for me to say it again, I say, before, if you are doing a university study, say 3 years, by the time, it means you should read at least 52 books a year. By the time you finish the university, you should have read at least 156 books. I mean, when I talk here of books, I'm talking about relevant books that are contemporary in the domain in which you are studying. That helps you to be able to find yourself fully equipped to actually function in the world in which we find ourselves today. The issue of studying for 3 years only with class material, you don't come out to become anything. The 52 books that you'll be able to read in 3 years, if those 52 books are well selected, by the time you're coming out, you are already a giant. And today we also have a lot of information on YouTube. Then we have the magic chat GPT today that can give you whatever you want, even though he has a lot of risk, because he can give you some funny thing also. You should be able to measure what you study and with what is really existing in the field. But I wish to say again, even as he said there, be able to have a mentor, somebody that can actually check what you've done, try to evaluate, situate you, and may help you again to say, no, what you have studied is good, yes, but there's a need for you to add this professionalism into that which you have studied, so that you'll be able to fit into the context in which things are found today. Either you are going entrepreneur-wise, you are going career-wise, probably you are going job-wise, or whatsoever, or where you wish to start. But I wish to say that you need somebody to guide you, call him a mentor or whosoever, who have an idea or who have knowledge, either in the domain in which you study or have knowledge generally, and will be able to orient you. Youth, let me tell people the truth, the world has changed. By the time you are studying for 3 years, everything is outdated and the world has already moved close to 50 years ahead of time. So as you are coming out from your 3 years, if you are not in touch with where the world is going to and you are only focusing on class work, you come out outdated and you may find yourself in a very tight situation. So now, but permit me to say this, especially the area of personal development. Personal development is not done in school. Please, the 3 years you spend to have a BSc, a BA, that's not what we call personal development. I call that one just having an exposure to that which you wish to do. That is just an exposure. You need to go, 80% of the work has to be done by you. That's why I'm talking about 156 books. In that domain, reading what people in that domain have done, industries in that domain have done, companies and the rest. Look at giants, people that have excelled in that domain. Read their history, read their books, read what they have been doing. By the time you are coming out in 3 years, you are even greater than a professor in that domain. Because you will be up to date to that which you need. And you will be able to actually project that which you need to know. So that by the time you are coming out, you are well equipped. But most people come out empty. They come out with 3 years of knowledge that is already outdated. Companies cannot absorb them. Company cannot even take them. But they claim that they have studied. So studying today is very, 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 you have to be strategic in your studies. And that is why one guy called me and asked me, you say we should read 150 books. I say yes. When I say you should read 150 books, I'm not saying that you should read 150 books cover to cover. So no, you can buy a book or you can go online and get an ebook and read just one chapter that is relevant to you, that which you need. For a book, you may read just 2 chapters that are relevant to that which you need. By the time you finish 3 years, you realize that you have read at least 150 books, adding a lot of knowledge to that which you actually need. And permit me to say this again to end. Please, we are living in a world today that has really, really, really changed. Information and communication technology has made the world to become so competitive that when you think that you go to the university like what we have today, where students are not really exposed to reality, students are not really exposed to that which is current, students are just given what is in a certain curriculum, certain syllabus that have been put in place, fixed for so many years and have not been changed. You study that, and there are many fields that have changed. Things like law might not really change as well because law is law, and some objects or some fields may not change as well, but there are some fields that change, especially science and technology. You don't dare to say that the 3 years you have done is enough. No, there is just a lot to be done, and this is why I say that any youth who wish to make sense to the world today has to knock off the spirit of laziness from his life. You sleeping very early every day, that spirit has to die. You have to work tirelessly to develop yourself, but this can only be done properly thanks to a mentor. Properly thanks to a mentor, because you can go and haphazardly do things at the end, it still doesn't mean anything. But get a mentor, get somebody who can guide you in that domain, in that area, so that you'll be able to actually help you out. And by the time you are coming out, you are so strong and well to do. He might even recommend you to certain things, and you find yourself now blossoming. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. Okay, Pastor Silas, I want us to talk about the importance of the digital space in modern environment.
Okay, I think that's something about the digital space and the technology that we are in is that it amplifies everything. The good, the bad, the ugly. You know, and I think that's something that I think our youth need to be very, very mindful of, because you have young people that are masters at TikTok, and they are ignorant on how to use Google to do simple research. Talk less of the ChatGPT and the rest. You know, that is a problem. Technology can amplify your stupidity or your intelligence, and that's something that I think that in this age, I think in fact you mentioned that because just a few days ago I was having the same conversation. We're talking about one of my friends, and I showed him a new AI tool that just popped up on my phone. That you see, it is this AI tool, my Adobe Reader, where if I have a PDF file, I can just ask the tool to read through the document and then summarize it for me, and I can ask the questions. So I don't need to read the document. I just need to say, okay, give me a summary of what this document is all about, and you give me the summary there. I can ask it question, what are the main points, what are the main, like there was a report on something, so what were the recommendations, or what were the challenges, what was it? It gives me other information. That saves me an incredible amount of time. Imagine summarizing a 200-page report, and all I need to do is ask a question and give me the information I want. In the past, I'll have to read the whole document. Now, I was having that conversation, like, these are tools this is technology that's available for us, you know. I remember a few months ago, I was having this session with some young people, and I was teaching them how to like come out with like projects for their community, what they want to do. So they'll sit down, they'll brainstorm, and then that's okay. They need to write, they need to do like a proper presentation for what they need to do, and then they're hitting their head left and right. They don't know any tool that can make that process easy for them. And I have to show them, hey, you don't need to hit your head. You already have an idea of what you want to do. These are tools you can use. You can use the ChatGPT, you can use Bing, you can use Gemini. There are many of those tools. Put the information there, and it will give you a very perfectly designed outline that you can work on. You don't know. So I took what they were doing. Within 2 minutes, I produced a whole report and gave them like, they saw me like a magician. Like, when did you do all of this? Are you telling me that you did all of it? I said, no, I'm not a magician. That's what technology is here for. I said, as young people, if you don't understand, if you are not proactive in understanding how the technology is available, then you'll be behind, because that assignment that is taking you 2 days to do, somebody somewhere has done in 2 seconds, and that already puts you at a disadvantage. It puts you at a disadvantage. So that's the thing. Technology is very powerful. So the smart ones make more use of it, and they are smarter. So you are going somewhere for a competition or even for an interview, and you have no idea what the job is about. People have already gone on those tools. They are already doing research on the kind of interview questions that they'll be asked and the kind of answer they should give. The person is ready for the interview. You are just there gapping in the air. You don't know what you're doing. Those are tools that are available. That's what technology is there for. It amplifies things. And I always say, technology will make the smart smarter and the dull duller, or the dumb dumber. And that's the challenge. So we need to encourage our people to make good use of technology. They have to. They should not spend time watching reels on TikTok from morning to evening, doing how do you call it, challenges, dance challenges, and all of that. Wasting your data. Meanwhile, there's a research in school that you don't even have the least idea on what to do to get that thing done. And that's the challenge you have. And so we need to also begin to make people understand that technology is evolving rapidly, and the smart ones will do themselves a good favor to keep up the pace. Because as the technology is advancing, those who are smart are using it to go faster. The competition is even more. I mean, businesses are using it to do much advanced analytics, much advanced predictions of how the market will go. I mean, much more advanced. That means you might be hearing your head about something. Somebody has used a tool that has given them a procrastination for the next 2-5 years, and you're still wondering whether you are in 2024 or 2023. And those are the things that technology is out there for, and our smart people need to do that. And for me, I like to encourage people, and again, let me drop one again for the church. All the things for the church that we start off damning technology, we say it's of the devil, and then discourage our young people from learning to use it. And then when they finally catches up with us, that's when we start coming to it. Just like before, when Facebook is, oh, Facebook is the devil. Oh, if I went TV, oh, TV is on the devil. And then finally we started seeing televangelists. Now when Facebook, oh, Facebook is bad, very soon we start seeing live services. But then when it came, you're damning it. Now that you cannot do without it, you're using it. That's not the approach we should take. We should be proactive, right? We should be proactive. We should be able to know what the advantage of using technology and train our people in the best use of it, so that they are always ahead. They are always ahead in the use of technology to better themselves and to be able to come up with more creative solutions that will solve our problems and move us on. That's just the.
Oh, thank you. I know of a family that they have a TV and they don't want to put any cable line, they don't want to put any dish, they just watch maybe religious program and all of that. That all of those other things are there. And they have children who they're supposed to learn, they're supposed to see certain things and learn. So thank you so much for that. We are rounding up this edition of today. It's been quite interesting. And I will start with you, Wenda. You give us your conclusion.
Thank you very much. It has been a very, very interesting program. And to the youths out there, I want to say you are a solution. You are a solution to the problem in your community, in your region, in the country, and in Africa and in the world at large. But as a youth, you need to discover yourself. You need to discover who you are. You know, the greatest discovery is self-discovery. The earlier you discover yourself, the more proficient, efficient, and productive you will be. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you, Madam Alice. As usual, I mean, I must say I enjoyed today's edition. I don't know why, but today was really, really good. I don't know why. And just to add up to what Mr. Musuka said about that question I was asked, because I noticed that the person narrowed down to time management.
Yes.
So I don't want to get into the details. But what I would say is that everything, Pastor Salas also talked about AI. And he said the smart ones. So smart might deceive somebody that is that you just become smart. Those smart ones are the ones that have the discipline to do the work, to stay ahead, right? So what our advice is, you see, this purpose thing, sometimes that we always say, but what purpose does is that purpose gives you a sense of personal discipline.
True.
Because purpose ends in a vision. And when you can see a vision can discipline you. Not me saying it to King Solomon in Proverbs 29 verse 18, that when there is no discipline, people cast off restraints. So if you want to manage your time well, you might not be able to get the nitty-gritties, but find purpose, you'll get the discipline to hold yourself back from many things. So about my conclusion, this is what I have to say. My name is Aya W. Abine on LinkedIn, Facebook, if you want to find me, because you might not understand some of the things I'll say. I'm going to give you 7 schools that you need to graduate from now. That's today, on this program will end, for you to start living. Otherwise, you're just existing. Number 1, the Higher Institute of Religious Manipulation. Number 2, Standard Advanced College of Exam Mentality and Entitlement Syndrome. Number 3, Midlands University of Hypocrisy. Number 4, Georgetown Institute of Caring Too Much About People's Opinion. Number 5, International College of Cowardice. Number 6, Brightway Institute of Mental Slavery. And number 7 and final, Inkebe Funa Institute of Following the Majority. If you graduate from these 7 schools, trust me, your life cannot remain the same.
Where are those schools?
You have to find me on social media for us to discuss more.
Yes, I would like to say to the young people out there is that, like what I've been sharing since the beginning, make it a priority to live a life of purpose. Make it a priority to live an intentional life. Make it a priority to live for impact. Make it a priority to serve others. If you live with these priorities, even if you don't know what purpose is, you fulfill it. That's what I have to say.
Thank you. Sounds okay.
Yeah, a young lady tried to observe that we always bring the men on this platform. We have been bringing ladies also. So it seems as if we'll make an edition where we'll have just young girls to sit like this.
That would be good. That would be wonderful.
Gender equality.
Ladies, we actually take care of everything. We are not trying to be gender bias or whatever. No. We are here because you are there, not as male or female. No. We work for Cameroonians, for Africans, and the rest. So we just wish to say that we will do a special panel next week, and we'll have ladies seated like this to also talk to the populations what they should not be. I wish to get a good lady pastor also. If we will find one, then that will be good. Or these 3 young men seated here can recommend a lady each. I'll be so grateful for them if they can get a young lady each and send me the person's name, who this and the rest, so that we make it in a way that it is not me who go again and choose a lady. Let me say that I'm biased or whatsoever. But ladies 3, again, may give me 3 young ladies and they will feature here next week. Now, this is what I wish to say to the youth. Youth, listen. I've worked with youths, I have led youths formally all over Cameroon for 17 years plus. Now, this is one thing which I wish to tell Cameroonian Africans, just this one thing. The good thing is that you'll be asked to graduate from some 7 schools and try and graduate from those schools and free yourself of trouble. Youth, this is what I wish to say to you. the world has drastically changed. And if you do not sit up, you may miss it. Today, you can be the greatest billionaire while living in Cameroon. I wish to strongly discourage these youths that are going through Mexico, Mediterranean Sea, and dying on the way and causing trouble for their nations. Technology has made it in such a way that you can become the best artificial intelligence engineer here in Buea. You can become the best network engineer, telecommunication engineer while here in Buea because of the advent of information and communication technology and the internet. So I just wish that you people should change your mentality. You don't need to travel to the US to become the person that you wish to become. You can become the best in your field more than all the people who are in the US. I want you to have this at the back of your mind. Have a vision for your life and start working on that now, youth. I may not say much on this. Have a vision for your life and start working on that. Don't be distracted by the too many things you see. You have just that vision. Build it, develop it, and become an expert in that area. And people will look for you everywhere. A lot is going to be achieved by you. The time we have here is very short. But let me just say that don't be deceived again by so many liars who fail bush. Let me tell you the truth. I said, don't be deceived again by so many liars who fail bush. Some who fail bush that are very truthful have spoken the truth. But a good number of them are still liars and hypocrites. And they want you to come and join them visionlessly where they are. And you bury your life, bury your vision. I want you to know that you can make it here in Africa better off than wherever you go to. If you are very serious and you know the vision of your life and pursue it. We will be here at Excellence Impact every Monday to give you that which you need. So just know that you can make it in Africa as a youth. Personal development is very, very necessary and it's going to take you somewhere and you're going to make it. For the churches, sit up because churches have gone digital. Those churches that are still at the 4 walls, wasting time. Train your people to go digital, develop them so that they can reach out to people far distances and kilometers away from where you find yourself. We love you, youth. That's why we are wasting. No, sorry, it's not wasting. That's why we are investing time so that you should not continue to waste your time. Thank you so much.
You're welcome, Mr. Musoke, and thanks to all of you for being part of the program. We've come to a close of this particular edition. The rebroadcast comes up at 10 p.m. this evening. Make sure you join us again next week. You've heard from Mr. Musoke. We are going to have ladies here on set to discuss another interesting topic. Stay tuned to I.